welcome everyone to the first Chroma Team Roundtable of 2026. It's a new year, it's a new start, all the good things. We draw a line under all bad performances, all the liquidation events, all the macro decisions that hurt your bags and knocked your confidence. You just draw a line under them. January's here. Everyone's making resolutions. There's like 100 more people in the gym than there normally are, hogging the machines. It's a good time of year, right? Lots to look forward to. So yeah, welcome one and all. Hope you all had a very good holiday season, and I hope you're ready to lock the fuck back in as we roll into January. Welcome to our panelists, our handsome and intelligent panelists. As always, we're going to be talking through the market and kind of giving you our thoughts on what we're looking at and kind of the state of things going into the next 7 or 8 days leading into the next roundtable. That's the entire idea of these discussions. So with that in mind, we'll kick things off and we'll keep things pretty high level at the moment. We're talking about the state of the market, right? We've had a bit of a rally to kick off January. Basically, looks like someone turned on the twap buy, and we've just had up only price action for the last 5 or 6 days. Alts are kind of looking good here, even though a lot of them are down, still 80, 90% from their highs of last year. Some are bouncing pretty considerably. We've already had bounces of like 60, 70, 80% on some alts, which is kind of wild, but that's what happens when BTC isn't constantly shitting the bed. So, Osbar, I want to go to you first. How are you looking at things here? What is your opinion on the market? Is this January rally going to sustain, or are we in for heartbreak?
Yeah, first of all, hello everyone for all the guys I couldn't talk with in the crypto chat and the general chat. Hope you guys are having a blast to start 2026. That was pretty good intro for this, especially that part about the gym. Good one, because it's so true. I've lost all my money. Sad. But regarding the market, yeah, incredible rally, and especially on altcoins. Like I'm not that surprised about BTC because we've been testing that level multiple times before January, the yearly open level basically. So BTC was there already a few weeks ago, but altcoins they started to print like multiple digits a day. Like we think about Tao, for example. We can talk about Solana. We also have XRP that had crazy pump. Is it going to be sustained? I hope yes. For now, at least we have the data suggesting that yes, because we at least we had today things slowed down a bit, but that's normal after such a move. But until today, Spot was buying, Perps were also buying. Everyone was involved basically. We also had um, large numbers of USDCs being printed by Circle. Um, I wouldn't be surprised if we get this Watcher Guru tweet saying Tether just minted 1 billion USDT as well. So let's see. Something that also can be reassuring for people is that usually when we have such a good start in January, it gives an indication of like what the market wants. And for now, we see that market wants higher prices. Let's see if it's going to play out or not. But it would be correlated with the macro outlook that we discussed a lot in 2025, especially at the end of the year. We're expecting the Fed to keep cutting rates. The latest data are suggesting that they should continue to do so. For a quick reminder, we had PMI and it was lower than expected. Also, the latest job numbers were lower than expected. Less job creations. Inflation also really like it was very low numbers in December with the CPI headlines. So yeah, the macro is also bullish. Technically, it looks bullish, and uh, the only unknown is the geopolitics. Not really an expert in South America, but let's see how things will evolve. I wouldn't be too concerned about South America, to be honest. We discussed quickly about Colombia. What I'm interested to see is the reaction from Russia and from China as well. Because I was wondering if China, for example, sees Trump doing what he wants to do with Venezuela and Colombia, for example, and he also even mentioned Mexico and Greenland, then why China wouldn't like attack Taiwan, for example. So I'm really interested to see how things are going to evolve on that super big chess that the world is. Yeah, and also as the HMC is saying, we have Israeli Iran. Like basically, they opened the box, and yeah, I think it's gonna be quite surprising the next few weeks, next few months. That's the only unknown. Market wise, then yeah, let's hope that everything keeps going up because we're all happy when everything is going up.
Yeah, and we can touch on the macro point in a moment, but yeah, for sure. I just
Yeah.
said there in the chat. Speaking of Taiwan and China, there's a trader who most of you probably know, a guy called Casper. I think it's Casper XBT, or I'm actually not even sure, but oh yeah, Casper SMC. That's it. He uh he bet 50K on China invading Taiwan this year, and he was basically saying the same thing. He said that Trump invading
Okay.
Venezuela has opened the door to those kind of international geopolitical maneuvers. So yeah, interesting situation for sure, and we can touch on that in a minute. For the moment, I want to go to Jedi because we normally go to Jedi towards the end of the analyst list. So it's 2026. It's a new year. It's a fresh start. We're flipping things on their heads, and we're going to Jedi earlier in the call rather than later. So yeah, happy New Year, Jedi, and I want to also get your thoughts on just the market in general. We're obviously seeing a bit of a rally to kick off the new year. What are your thoughts here, and how are you positioned?
I don't know whether I should change my name to Victorious because I'm actually feeling pretty much the way he was at the end of December, or rather at the beginning of November, going into December. Um, I really don't trust this rally at the moment as much as I'd like to because I think I'll even outbull Purdue. Um, but at the moment, I'm just feeling super skeptical about what's going on in the market, and I think the one kind of like solace that I have is that the market, or rather Bitcoin, didn't really react to this Venezuelan news, whereas I think 6 weeks ago it probably would have gone to 60K like in less than 5 minutes, but it didn't. It kind of chilled, and I think you even had a great running commentary at the time, and you saying, "Well, fuck, this thing's actually chilling." So even though there are really good signs at the moment, I'm not entirely convinced. I think I'd really like to see us go into 100K and continuation to kind of like ruin this whole idea of retests and stuff for a while. I mean, it's inevitably going to retest, but I'm still on the fence at the moment. I'm not at all allocated, and the allocation that I have is tiny. Um, just going on to what's of interest for me at the moment is that despite there being a whole lot of doubt, it seems like the trenches are really looking great. I actually saw a post with the underlying data to support it that there was over $1.25 billion in volume on the greatest scam that crypto has ever seen in pump.fun in the last 24 hours. So, that's our indicator. We made fun about Fartcoin and how it's always been the leader of the charge. I think we're starting to see context as meme coins being the leaders of the charge. Now, I think from a from a render perspective, once again, I see you posted the chart in chat and you were chatting about it on the stream yesterday. That's another kind of like indicator. So I know that there are some really good signs at the moment, and I really, really hope that it continues. But I'm sitting on the fence and saying, you know what, I'd much rather get this move 30% higher and know that everything's confirmed and the trend has been broken, as opposed to getting involved now and getting fucking ripped again. I'm not in the mood to lose a whole lot of money again. I've had enough of it, so I'm chilling, I'm waiting, and I'm watching.
That's awesome, and that's a really good point to make. I think patience always prevails in this market, even when things start to look moderately good as they do now. Um, a point that I was making in my own channel a few minutes ago before we went live here is just that we saw this exact same thing to kick off January last year, and it was the exact same playbook. Guys were long. Guys said, "Oh, this time it's different. This rally will sustain," and tons of guys round tripped a ton of profit to kick off the new year. One of the members actually, well, sorry, I shouldn't say one of the members. He's one of the alpha team. Phobia had mentioned something in crypto chat yesterday. I mean, he was kind of joking about it, but he said, 2026, is the year where we don't round trip any profits. And he like locked in a Solana long. He made like 20K. I just thought that's such a good way to start the year. If you have a trade running and you're up big UPNL, just fucking lock it in, man. We're on the 6th of January now. What a start to the new year. You lock in 20 grand and then it's up only from there, right? I think there's a psychological effect to that kind of behavior, especially as we enter 2026. Before I go from you, Jedi, I want to get your thoughts quickly on Lit, on LIT, the lighter coin. Are you trading it? Are you looking at it? Because I know a few of the previous new coins, let's say like XPL, MON, had your attention. Does Lit have your attention?
So, really good question. I still have my airdrop. I had quite a large airdrop that I've still held on to. And I ended up buying some more just before the day before yesterday. So it was 2 days ago. Not big by any stretch of the imagination, but I think it's going to do well long term. I think we need to look at the narrative around this. First of all, we're seeing Hype, who probably has some of the best fundamentals in this business at the moment, and it's just continuing to get sold off. And the question is, why is that happening? Well, first of all, the market is just completely silly and stupid in many ways, and I think everyone's allocating to the next opportunity in the same light and in the same context. But if we look at the fundamentals around us, even though we know that fundamentals don't really matter anymore, I'd like to think that they do. The fundamentals around Lighter is that it's got the best backing in the business. We've got some serious backers around this thing. I think we got Paragon, and there's a whole lot of really big players. Robin Hood as well, I think, have some kind of a stake in this thing. They're about to bring equities online, but they're going to do it properly, I think. I think their whole strategy is to really, really provide liquidity and actually roll this thing out in a solid way. And at the moment, they are continuing to do more volume than Hyperliquid is. So it really is a case of catching lightning in a bottle. And I think the market has got wind of this. Clearly, the price action is indicating that there's a serious amount of volume coming in. And if you look at the June dashboards that are out there at the moment, I think 64% of airdrop allocation has been retained by those individuals. So I really like Lit. I did write about it in my channel. Listen, we've made some bold predictions and made some insightful or seemingly insightful predictions in 2025, which never came to pass. But somehow I think that this one is going to land up carrying the can and doing really well. So yeah, Lit definitely has my vote of confidence, and I'm just hoping that this price action continues with this rally. And what I noticed about it is when Bitcoin hit that resistance and others 2 and 3 hit resistance, because that we're at major resistance at the moment, Lit actually showed strength. So that's always reassuring, whereas coins like Hype are really struggling at the moment.
Yeah, that makes a ton of sense. Interesting, that stat you mentioned about, the percentage of holders that haven't sold yet. That's fascinating to me. But yeah, I guess it's as with all these new launches, it really is very market dependent. We've seen plenty of good projects shit the bed when it comes to their charts over the last 12 months, and I don't expect that January will be any different. But if the market continues to rally, then obviously that's a great platform for Lit going into the rest of the year. I want to go to Purdue now. Purdue, what are you looking at in the market? What has your attention, maybe specifically from the altcoin side of things?
Um, yeah, at the moment, I think it's always like this. Like in holiday season, at the 1st of January, when no one is paying attention, you get this massive rally. I've seen this so many times already, and now traders actually come back to desk today or yesterday, and yeah, it's back to choppy price action. So for now, I tried like a long, but I think it's best to wait it out a bit before we hit 90, 91K again. What I do like is that we're breaking down on the BTC dominance. I can show you the chart. And now we're losing the trend here as well on the BTC dominance, which to me means that altcoins should show some strength when BTC bottoms. So I'm pretty easy going for now, but I think once we hit 91.2, 91.7 on BTC, I think it's time to look at altcoins that have shown great strength, like Monad. I'm a big fan of Monad here at current prices. Lighter as well, and XRP as well, maybe on a retest of the yearly open at 2.08, something like that. But for now, everything is at big resistance, and I think it's better to sit it out for now.
Yeah, I love that. I think, yeah, that's definitely something that I've been looking at in my own charts. BTC has approached resistance here. It is at kind of this medium time frame, whatever you want to call it, H4, H12 range high. We have taken major buy side liquidity. We're trading at, value area high. Yeah, I mean, I think if you're opening new longs here, you might get caught longing too late into the price leg. And maybe if you're long from lower, you're kind of looking for, what are my invalidations here? What are my trailing stops potentially, so that I don't round trip everything? But no, that's a great point. Victor, what are you looking at in the markets? What has your attention in the charts?
As always, I'm mostly looking at BTC and kind of getting my bias from that. And I totally agree with you and Jedi and Perp in the fact that, yes, this pump is looking good, but we're approaching resistance. I can't really trust it. I'm going to share my screen for a second to show what I mean. So first things first, like if we look on the monthly, yes, the monthly chart is still in an uptrend, so the bull market, the bull run is still alive. But if we start looking a little bit lower, like on the weekly is kind of bearish technically, because this was a bearish break of structure. The daily is just ranging, and we are approaching, or I should say we have actually swept range highs, and range highs coincide with the monthly fair value gap that I showed you earlier. Now, a sweep as shallow as this one is not enough for me to say that, oh, this is the range high sweep into the monthly FG, and now we're going to rotate to range lows. I think that I want to see a deeper sweep, maybe to like 96K, maybe tap the weekly fair value gap as well, which sits at 96K. But longing here feels stupid because we are at range highs. We are above the value high of the range, which is where you should be actually looking for reasons to get short. So while I do like and I do appreciate the fact that we started the year so well, and I want to see a continuation and I want to see higher prices, positioning myself for longs right here is statistically a bad idea. So yeah, I'm mostly looking at ways that I can enter shorts right now. And I already mentioned that if we get a deeper sweep of the monthly fair value gap, sweep the weekly fair value gap, and then drop back below 94.5K, that's a short that I would take. If we drop back below the value high of the range, that's a short I would take. But yeah, positioning yourself right now is not the best idea because, like I said, for longs it's kind of too late because we're above value high. For shorts, I think it's a little bit too early because we can continue this nice bullish momentum up higher into the fair value gap. So I'm just waiting to see what happens next. And an interesting thing is, I love numbers, I love statistics. If we look at the weekly range, right, we have the Monday low, which is, let me see, the Monday low is the Monday open actually. So it's here. And then we have the Monday high here. And now on Tuesday, we failed to take the Monday high, and I don't think we'll take the Monday low. And what that means is that if we take it from Wednesday onwards, it's most likely going to be a continuation. So if we manage to go to Monday high tomorrow, I can see higher prices for the rest of the week. If we go to Monday low tomorrow or on Thursday, I can see lower prices for the rest of the week, unless I say that we're dumping. So yeah, that's my playbook. So I'm waiting to see if Monday high gets taken first or Monday low gets taken first. If Monday low gets taken first, I'm shorting.
Yeah, so that's a great point. I mean, and that is something that I'm also looking at, this kind of range high, value area high, shouldn't be opening longs into resistance. But how do you, and this is a question that I also ask myself, but how are you reconciling that with, let's say, the more high time frame outlook, which by most metrics we're kind of trading at, arguably at like this kind of range low support, this kind of like 90K, 80K support level, at least on kind of, yeah, exactly. So I mean, on this time frame, you can draw that as a channel, you can draw it as a range, whatever way you want to draw it, we're kind of trading at this support level. So I think sometimes, yeah, how do you reconcile your kind of H4, H12 view with this higher time frame, daily, weekly, monthly view?
Yeah, that's a great question. And again, it's just waiting. And for me, waiting means I want to see price trade through this weekly fair value gap and this kind of range point of control. Because if we manage to trade through this, we will definitely break out of this range after respecting the support, like you said. And we will trade through the bearish POI above range highs. So that is definitely a breakout. And then together with macro economical factors, I can totally see a run to a new all-time high. But what this means is that if I wait just a little bit and instead of entering longs right now at 93K, I enter them at 100K. Yes, I'm a little bit late, but because my target would be the all-time high, I still have enough room to make profits. I don't need to make the most profits. I want to be sure that I make profits. I mean, you cannot be sure, but I want to be more certain. So yeah, I totally agree that like monthly, like I said, still looks good, but I would just rather wait a little bit more to get the confirmation of the breakout and then long, because the upside is still pretty decent even if you wait.
Yeah, 100%. And that's essentially how I'm looking at it as well. Want to go to Rouge now, the only one of our panelists we haven't heard from yet. Rouge, what are you looking at in the markets? What has your attention as January kicks off? Do you believe this January rally, or are you skeptical?
Let me plug my headset. 1 second. Let me share a chart to start one. So what am I looking at? First and foremost, I was, like many of you, I was bearish, leaning below previous yearly open. But looking at this somewhat of the strength we showed yesterday, my bias was more inclined towards neutral stuff. But all in all, when we look at a higher time frame on H4, at the moment, shit just looks like a liquidity grab, SFP, because we didn't manage to close any significant candle above the previous monthly high. And this this is like really vertical. So this vertical push up here that we've witnessed since like some 1 or 2 weeks might just be so that people can actually sell from a higher price point. At least to me, it looks like that, because since we kickstarted this move, at least on higher time frames, we didn't get any pullback. Now that we're getting one, of course, as many of you know, I'm a reactional trader, so I am bad at making assumptions, but it's either here we find support at the many points of controls we left on this because it was vertical on the move up, or if we start closing below here, we start closing H4s below this impulse, and it looks very ugly, and I'm expecting that all these Pikachu lows get cleansed. And this is just a high for more doomsday continuation. Because like from a macro perspective, I don't really understand why we would have such a like 7-8%, 10% move up in such a short period of time after we chopped for legit 1 full month. Two things were keeping BTC in check, but it was the options expiry on 26th and 31st. I guess maybe that's why we got a rally. But aside from that, news-wise, like from purely a macro perspective, there is like nothing really pointing up at the moment, unless I'm mistaken. So I'm really not overly excited at the moment. I would be if the support levels that we printed, you can see we have a lot of them here, here, here. If they provide reaction to the upside, then yeah, maybe. And my all-time, I put a line here, my all-time short level, my ultimate short level still sticks between here, 86 to here. So this is where I'm looking to enter in order to get Sailor out of the market. If we have a bearish reaction, obviously. However, above this level, and I could clearly see us at least taking the doomsday wicks at the 116. It would be very, very interesting to see this reversal. But again, it's hard to do projections, especially after we got like a full month of chop. Like holding into a long is a task that's really, really, really hard at the moment, considering like pretty much any bad news can propel you down. Like look at how NQ pumped, for example, on LTF today, despite like equities going up like significantly, despite the small pullback here, Bitcoin has done nothing. It's the complete opposite direction. Money is currently being thrown at metals indices. Crypto, we would need a shit ton of money to go above the sell wall that we have around 80, 96, 98K, plus all the people that would actually like market sell at these levels, the whales and all the people with big bags. So I'm neutral at the moment. I'm not being overly excited, but we start to get closer and closer to very interesting levels. And to be honest, I am glad that we moved away from that silly range that we had on December, which was like purely dog shit trading. Nothing was clear. It was pure aids. At least we moved away from that. And for this, I'm happy. So that's pretty much my take at the moment.
Can I ask a question quickly, maybe for everyone? What are your thoughts around, and Ruse, just to kick it off, sorry to hijack Furless, but what is your
No,
thoughts
please go ahead.
around tax harvesting and kind of like this narrative that we've been hearing about? Because it seems quite plausible to me. I'm just curious as to what you guys think. Yeah.
I can jump in there. I mean, I posted something quite big in my channel a few days ago. I'm not sure if you saw it. Let me just cross-post it to the live stream channel. The basic thesis is that, yeah, you see lots of guys post about it every January, like, oh, December was choppy and bearish. That was because people were selling for tax harvesting reasons. January will be bullish because there's going to be a buyback. And while there is some truth to that, especially in jurisdictions where December 31st is the end of the tax year, effectively in crypto, the sample size is too small to say whether it's anything, whether there's anything actionable to it. And it's not really a trade thesis in and to itself. And seasonality on its own is a very dangerous and kind of weak trade thesis to be basing any kind of trades on. But there are ways that you can gauge whether or not that tax loss harvesting is happening. I think there are on-chain data, basically realized losses would have a spike, which we did see in December. The price action would be consolidated, basically like a compressing range in December, followed by a rally in January, which we also basically got. OI would be flat or dropping in December, followed by a spike in January, which kind of what we're getting at the moment. Although it's hard to say because OI data is kind of down only on a high enough time frame at the moment, and then spot leading futures, which we have seen at various points in January so far. So, I mean, there's definitely evidence that it has happened over the last like 6-7 weeks, but probably not enough to base an entire trade on. Although you could definitely use it for confluence.
Thank you.
I don't know. Does anyone have anything to add to that? I mean, that's just, I don't know. Fuck it. I don't know anything about that stuff, but I was curious as well as you were, Jedi. So I also did a bit of, I did a bit of research on Saturday or whatever it was. Does that answer your question?
100%. Thank you. I mean, I think for me it comes down to sample size too small, maybe too dangerous to actually like base the AIDS price action in December on purely tax harvesting. I mean, we did have a number of whales with thousands of BTC just completely unloading, and you know that's not tax harvesting. That's just pure profit taking.
Yeah. And it's also one of those things like I hear so many guys say, and they're posting this content without a shred of like self-awareness or irony. They'll be like, no, because in 2017, this is what we got, and in 2021, this is what we got. Therefore, in 2025 or in 2026, this is what we're gonna get. And I'm like, motherfucker, you realize you've just given me a sample size of 2. You've given me a sample size of 2, and you're making extrapolations based on that data set. I mean, I know people in crypto aren't the brightest bunch sometimes, but that is a whole that is kind of next level talking out your ass as far as I'm concerned. I mean, it's one thing looking at a market that has 40 or 50 years of price data, but looking at a market that, I mean, the futures market has existed for like 10 years. I think, wasn't it BitMEX launched the crypto futures market in 2015 or something? So, I mean, when you think about it in that sense, there's really only 2 cycles to go on, and crypto is changing very quickly cycle to cycle. So, in any case, I want to keep you around for a second, Jedi, and I want to ask you about DEX farming in 2026 in January, because I know a lot of the guys on the call will want to know about this. I myself have some opinions on this, and I think the Paradex partnership that we entered into earlier, well, we launched it yesterday, although we entered into it earlier in the month. That's going to inform my view on things, but I'm wondering what's your take, because you were also, you were a kind of a proponent of lighter pre-TGE. I'm imagining you were you involved in Hyperliquid? I'm actually not sure, but yeah, I mean, I imagine you have your finger on the pulse when it comes to these things. So I'm curious to know what has your attention in terms of TGEs to expect in 2026.
So I was actually the first person to ever interview Jeff in terms of
Oh, wow.
performance context. Yeah. So I didn't actually farm Hyperliquid to the extent that I should have. So I really missed out on that. I mean, I did for the end part of it. I obviously realized, like, hold on a second, like all the stuff that he spoke to me about that I had no. I mean, I interviewed him, and I actually left that interview more confused than actually knowing what the fuck was going on. But that's a separate story. So I think, just to answer your question, obviously the lighter TGE and the airdrop itself was kind of like, it was an obvious one, and it was really like a case of, if you had put the time in and you were clever about it, then you were going to do well. I did post a list of protocols that, or rather dexes that were kind of like on my radar. I think at the moment, the ones that I really like, and not for the sake of publicity or partnerships, I really like Paradex. I was actually really fortunate to meet their main analyst, and then I spoke to their CEO, and I really think these guys have got their shit together. They've got a power team. They're based in Singapore, and they really are serious about what it is that they're doing. So I think Paradex is a foregone conclusion. That's something that I think everyone who's listening to this call, you need to actually get your shit together, get to figure out DeFi. If you've got questions, there is a DeFi channel. There's a lot of us in there that will be very happy to help you. We will have educational content coming out on DeFi, but that's later on in the quarter. But if you want to know how to do all of this stuff, it's actually not difficult. You just need to get the fundamentals right. Most of you are trading on central exchanges. all you're doing is you're transferring money from a central exchange to a wallet like Rabby. Do not use MetaMask. It's a piece of shit. And anyone who's still using MetaMask, please stop using that shit. Get yourself a real wallet. Get rid
I'm
of
using
it.
Brave Wallet on Brave browser. How good or
Brave
bad is
Wallet,
that?
Brave Wallet's fine. It's definitely better than MetaMask. But if you're gonna get serious about the shit, just go and download Rabby. You can transfer the seed across. It's not difficult. It's really easy. Don't save your seed online. Write it down somewhere and keep it safe. Do not store your seeds online, guys. No matter what you think is safe, it's not fucking safe. Someone will hack your shit and they will break your account. Do not save anything online. Just to get back to your question, variational, I think, is going to be like a really good one. That definitely on the radar. I think Pacifica as well. There's a whole list of them. So I think the approach is that you want to be delta neutral. So open a long position and a short position on BDC. A lot of these dexes don't let you open a position on both at the same time, long and short. They don't have the bi-directional. So the best way to do it is to actually open up 2 accounts and then basically set limits on both the short and the long, and then run it as a delta neutral. And then do some trades. Don't be scared to trade stuff on smaller volumes. Get a footprint on the DEX, and I promise you, like if you get in early, I think with Perp Dex and variational, I think they're still super early. I think you can get some good points racked up, and it's free money, guys. It really is free money. You don't need a rocket science degree. You can just set it up, get involved, and I mean, I know that a number of people did really well with lights. So that's pretty much my take on it. Just in terms of another opinion that a lot of people have is that there's too many dexes in the market at the moment. I disagree. I think what there is there's a process that we need to go through to determine which dexes are going to survive. That doesn't mean that we have too many. If you look at Hyperliquid and the volumes that it was doing, it's still doing similar volumes to what it does, yet Lighter is doing more volume. So what the fuck is going on here? What is actually happening in these markets at the moment is that you've got more and more players that want to actually participate in dexes that are giving rewards, and more people are
Là, il
being
y a le facteur
educated
risque aussi, hein.
to being in that space. Who was that?
That was amazing. That was Rouge speaking French very angrily.
Yeah, he was. Actually, I wonder if it's got anything to do with his bearish sentiment on Bitcoin.
Can we get a translation on that, Osbra? What were we just exposed to?
No, he said he said there is the risk factor as well.
Amazing. Sorry, go ahead, Jedi.
That's it. That's my take. I don't think there are too many dexes or perps dexes at the moment. I think we're starting to see this market and this sector of the market really coming into its own. And even though we've had dog shit price action, I think we've still got a lot of room to go and a lot of people to come into this market. And I think dexes are going to continue to come up, and I think dexes are going to be highly competitive. I mean, Lighter, you're not paying for maker and taker fees at the moment. I mean, that's insane. You're saving yourself a serious amount of money just trading off that principle. And I think we're going to see more of it, and it's just going to become more competitive, and it's just going to be better for traders. That's my take on it.
Yeah, it's like this is a point that I've been making for the last few months, and in fact, I think it's something we spoke about when we met IRL in Singapore. Is that there are going to be multiple winners to this Perp Dex game. People saying that oh well, Hyperliquid are the winner, and then and there's only going to be room for maybe Lighter, and then that's it. I don't think so. I think there's going to be. It's like in the same way that there are multiple winners in the CEX game at the moment, right? There are multiple big exchanges that are offering a fantastic product where people feel good about adding volume and trading and depositing funds. I think it's going to be the same thing with dexes, and I think the big change that's going to happen with this kind of Perp Dex meta, and I should also add that I don't think this meta is just a flash in the pan. It's going to last a year and then everyone's going to forget about it. I think this is actually signaling a broader shift in the market. As more and more regulation comes in, as more and more rules come in for trading on a centralized exchange, people are going to continue to move towards DEX trading in order to in order to, because people fucking value their privacy effectively, right? People value having a smaller online footprint, and people don't want, all this fucking, all these, this new regulation coming in. Sexes have to report trading data. In the UK, I think all regulated exchanges have to report trading data for every citizen, right? It's fucking
Yes.
nuts. So if you're a KYC trader in the UK, all of your trade data is requestable by the government and is going to the government whenever they ask. So I mean, like, that shit is wild, especially in crypto, where the whole idea of like decentralization and on-chain is moving away from that model. So I think we're going to see a continued push towards the DEX trading model. And what that means is that it's not just going to be hyper liquid. It's not just going to be lighter. There's going to be 4 or 5 good DEXs at the top of the game that people are going to be trading on, that people are going to be doing volume on. And therefore, there are going to be multiple winners in this Perp Dex meta. And, the idea, I suppose, now is you want to be an early adapter to one that you think is going to go the long haul, right?
So just to add to the privacy side of things, I think what's really, really important in light of the crystal ball scenario and kind of like one of the predictions for 2026, and this is my line in the sand, is that zero knowledge proof, ZKs, is going to be massive. It's going to be a massive narrative that's actually going to run point on this whole privacy thing. And it's not something that we should kind of just accept as something that's going to happen. We need to be aware of what ZK looks like from a strategic perspective, from an investment perspective, and how we position ourselves, especially from a DeFi investor kind of like approach. And I think, Vitalik 4 days ago released kind of like a long-winded thing around how Ethereum is essentially ready now over the next probably 45 years to go full ZK. We are going to see a privacy network. You will not be able to see what it is that I'm transferring from wallet A to wallet B. And the same thing will go for DEX trading, where dark pools and ZK will be the fundamental part of this whole entire process. You can't come and fucking chase me down if I've got a $50 million BTC short running. That opportunity will not exist for you. So it will be a central exchange scenario. You'll see money going in, but you won't know what that money's doing. And I think it's really important, not only from a trading perspective, to keep yourself kind of safe from people that are hunting you down, but I think from a privacy perspective, it's none of your fucking business how much money I have when I send you $50 off the back of that. And I think that's what this is all about. It's not about criminal activity. It's not about trying to pull the wool over people's eyes. It's basically saying, I value my privacy. You do not have the right to know what it is that I'm doing, and I'd like myself to be protected from that. Wrench attacks, all that kind of stuff is a huge issue around crypto at the moment. And the only way that we avoid it is by having ZK as a part of the fundamentals of crypto. That's what the origins of crypto are about. And we need to actually go back to those origins.
Yeah, I really like that. And spoken like a true DeFi maxi. I love that. I want to get opinions. This is an open question to the panel. This same topic I'm sticking on. We're still talking about perp dexes, whether or not you have an opinion on perp dex farming, or more generally an opinion about perp dexes in general and that meta and how people are shifting towards perp dexes. So I mean, Victorious, Rouge, Osbra, this is open for you guys. Whether or not you have any opinions, please feel free to jump in.
I enjoy trading on perp dexes. Most of my trading in the last few months has been on perp dexes. The issue that I found and why I now moved back to a central exchange is that they don't work as well. Like, they are still in their infancy, at least the ones that I used, and there are a few bugs that you would not encounter on central exchanges. Slippage is a little bit bigger from what I've experienced, but at some point that's going to be solved, and central exchanges will not be this superior thing anymore. But until then, I think it's also important to think, like, from a customer perspective. Like, we do care about privacy and all that stuff because we are deep in this market, but think about the retail people. They just want to have the simplest experience, the simplest UI, and flawless execution, and that's what they care about more than privacy on all these noble topics. So I think that until decentralized exchanges will be able to be as simple to use and work as well as central exchanges. Central exchanges will still be the leaders, but I hope and I think that at some point we'll reach the DEXs will reach that level that they are better actually than central exchanges, not only from a, let's say, moral perspective, but also in terms of functionality. And yeah, that's what I hope will happen.
That's great. Osbra?
Yeah, I kind of agree with what Vic said, and even though I'm not really a DeFi head, I think it's really good that we have these kind of projects available for people who need it, for people who like it, and as Jedi said, for people also who value the privacy and stuff. So it's a really good thing. However, and I want to bounce back on a conversation we had together earlier today. Just to open an account on the Perp Dex, sometimes you can have frictions or difficulties to open it. And if you think about a retail perspective, then I'm not sure this is really appealing. Even though now they make it much more simple with different ways to sign up, which is really good. You don't always need to own a MetaMask to send like enough tokens to cover the gas fees, etc., to sign transactions, whatever. So I think it's going the right way, and also I strongly believe that central exchanges need competition, and they need to be shaken out for a lot of reasons that we can all think about. However, yeah, I think it's going to be very difficult to onboard retail on dexes, and unfortunately, even though I think that these projects are really good addition to the industry, to the space, I don't think it's going to be the road that is going to be preferred to onboard retail. And it's also like a long-term opinion. I don't think it's going to change anytime soon.
Yeah, I like that. I'm going to stick with you for a second, Osbar, because I want to ask about this as we enter the kind of last 15 minutes of the conversation here. I want to talk about the RAM shortage. Now, this is a point that you had brought up in one of our private chats, and this having a potential impact on crypto. Can you tell me more about that as someone who doesn't really know a lot about it?
Yeah, first, it's definitely some hardware stuff. So technically it has absolutely no correlation with the crypto market. However, we know that the AI is using a lot of RAM to function, and we saw a surge of like AI users for smart or not so smart reasons lately. We all think about that, hey, Grok, and you can end the sentence however you want. And it's like making it will probably make it just an opinion for now, but I don't think it's that dumb, but it will make like AI even more like expensive. I mean, yeah, pretty bikini on Osbra with a dog's head. It will make AI like a lot of much more expensive to how can we say in English? I mean, to fund, basically to fund. And I was wondering if it couldn't have an impact on crypto, and more specifically on AI related tokens. So that's why I wanted to bring this up. So I think it's good to follow RAM prices to see how the prices are behaving. Also, analysts are saying that it should impact GPUs as well. So basically, graphic cards, guys. Prices are already out of hand, but apparently it should be even worse, and it should be a trend for the next few 8 to 12 months. Just so you know. So yeah, let's see the impact on the AI related tokens. I know people are very, very quick to make correlations between GPUs, between RAM and AI tokens, even though like sometimes it has absolutely nothing to do together. But yeah, follow that closely and make a short list of these tokens. I'm not probably not the best. You should ask about these ones, maybe Purdue, Phobia, or even Jedi. But of course, you have like Tau, Fetch, stuff like that, and maybe some other tokens under the radar that you can monitor, guys.
Hey, that's awesome.
And
That's good to know.
if you have RAM, of course, just just so you know, the RAM I bought like 1 year ago is up almost 4x now. just so you know.
The RAM you bought, is it you bought like this is hardware you're talking about?
Course.
You're speaking to someone now. I have
Okay.
no fucking clue about
Okay,
RAM
so
and about
the
all this
RAM
stuff.
basically it's like hardware that you put into your computer, right?
No,
It's
I
like
get that. But so you can actually buy extras and you put it into your computer and it increases the computer performance. Is that
Yes.
correct? Yeah.
Yeah,
Can
it's
you tell that I
absolutely.
use MacBooks or
No, I'm using Windows.
MacBooks still needs MacBooks still need
Yeah.
RAM. They all use
I
RAM.
Yeah, you
are
don't
they
upgrade- you
less
don't upgrade-
upgradable than PCs
Yeah,
though?
they're
Like,
less upgradable.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, they're less upgradable. Like on PCs, it's much more frequent to add much more like RAM over the time. Like you replace or you just increase the amount of RAM that you have. And basically in 2025, the price did a 3x. So I bought maybe 64 gigs for like 350 euros, and now it's worth above 1,000. So if you think about it, that's a very good trade.
That's crazy. That's actually wild to think about. Yeah. But you know,
Yeah.
I guess there are many kind of commodities that have gone that way, you know, precious metals, gold, silver, palladium is also up as well. But yeah, I'm sure that actually is also related, right, to RAM.
Yeah, it's related.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that makes
it's related.
sense. Okay, I'm drawing my own conclusions here. Thankfully it didn't sound like too much of an idiot, hopefully. I want to also quickly talk about before, so I'm gonna get your predictions. Everyone here needs to give me your 1 minute predictions for 2026. Before that, I just want to spend 5 minutes talking about Ethereum. Now, this is something that we spoke about in December. I said that there are a bunch of guys in my circle, bunch of guys in Telegram chats I'm in, saying that Ethereum is the trade of 2026. I know Purdue has been talking about it a lot in private conversations, you know, talking about Tom Lee and the talismanic effect that he is continuing to have on Ethereum. You know, he is the Michael Saylor of Ethereum. Will he be able to make ETH great again, I guess, is the question. But how are you guys viewing ETH? This isn't just, you know, a low time frame thing. What is your high time frame opinion on Ethereum in 2026? And that is an open question for the panel.
You know, I don't believe in that ETH is gonna outperform BTC this year. I'm not an ETH maxi. I still believe I'm less certain than I was maybe in November, but I still believe that we won't make a new all-time high this cycle. And if that's the case, then I can definitely see no way that ETH can outperform BTC. Maybe if it dumps less than BTC, you can call that outperformance, but I'm not in the group of people that think that ETH is gonna do well this year, unfortunately.
Osbert Jedi, do you guys have any takes on that? I'm not sure. Is Rouge still occupied? I'll
I
mute
do.
him and see if he is. Go ahead.
I'm
do
here.
agree
I'm here.
with Vic. Rouge, maybe you want to give your opinion?
I'm not sure I'm the most qualified.
You're
So I
as
think
someone
if
who
we
only
look-
trades BTC. Go ahead, Jedi.
So I think if we look at what we've seen in previous cycles, we've always seen ETH outperforming BTC after BTC has done its thing. And I think the question really needs to be, are we going to see the same as what we've seen in previous cycles? And I think there is a chance that we might see it. I'm not seeing it at the moment. I thought that maybe there was an opportunity for it to do that in December, for dominance to drop. I mean, that's why Purdue brought up the dominance chart. The dominance chart is our indicator from that perspective, because as soon as BTC starts kind of like shedding its dominance, then Ethereum lands up stepping up to the plate and saying, okay, cool, I'm going to lead this charge now. But I haven't really seen much of that. It still seems to be following BTC's action. We see BTC pumping, and then ETH follows, and it kind of like does the 3,200, and everyone gets excited. But I agree with Victorious. I don't think it's going to outperform. And it actually hurts me to say that, because I really like ETH. I think there's a lot of fundamentals in place for Ethereum to give it that opportunity to outperform. We've got all these institutions that really do like Ethereum. They see the security value around it. And even though ultimately they'll land up building their own L2s and all the rest of it, they will always land up relying on the security that Ethereum offers them. Does that translate into price go up? I think Tommy Lee thinks so. I think he's banking on that. He's betting on that. But I don't think we're going to see it in 2026. I mean, I hope I'm fucking wrong. I mean, I'd love to see ETH go to 8K. I mean, I'll be the first one leading the charge on that. But I don't see it happening.
Yeah, completely agree with you there. When you said that, that's exactly what Tom Lee's hoping for. I think that's effectively the Tom Lee game plan, and he's taken his own gamble on that one. But Osbra, what are your thoughts on ETH in 2026?
Just before I give my opinion, I want to remind that last year I said Ethereum is not gonna do any all-time high in 2025, and it spent literally 15 minutes in all-time high just to prove me wrong before going back down to sub 3K. So that's the fun fact.
What I'm hearing
So,
there is you got your prediction wrong, Osbra. That's what I'm hearing.
yeah, like just 15 minutes in all-time high, just just so people can say, "Hey, you've been wrong." However, I do believe I don't want to make any all-time high prediction this time, but I want to say I don't believe ETH is going to outperform BTC as well, because according to the metrics that we have, it's just impossible. Like BTC is gathering so much attention, like a lot of attention, and especially on the institutional side, and also among governments. We can also look at inflows, basically, how is it called? ETF metrics, and we can definitely see that the interest is more like on BTC instead of Ethereum. So I definitely not believe if it's going to outperform. And when retail is going to be back to the market, more than it is right now, I don't think ETH would be the most attractive token for simple reasons. Basically, marketing wise, I don't think that Vitalik is a very good head of marketing, or a very good figure, very good face for a project to attract a lot of new people. And also, there is something that will talk to a lot of you guys. When we started to get into trading, into crypto, we were like looking at the cheapest token in terms of face value, not in terms of market cap. Like, we wanted to buy like token as close to $1 as possible, and we're all thinking, oh, what if it goes to BTC price? I'm gonna be so rich. So people are not going to get into to buy a token that is already worth like $4,000. They're going to go for the cheaper options, because they're not going to look at the market cap and all these things, and they're just gonna be like, oh, that token is 20 cents. If it goes to $100, I'm gonna be a billionaire. This is how it works, and this is what we need if we want alt season, if we want like a crazy bull run. So yeah, I don't believe in ETH outperforming. Solana will take over. That's my
Okay,
bold
well,
prediction.
I'm going to keep you there, right? Because this is the next point is related. I want to get your hot prediction for 2026. Just give me one. And is that it? Is that your prediction for 2026, that Sol ETH is going to have a bullish year?
Yes, yeah. Definitely. I have absolutely no. I'm not afraid to say it.
Okay. I mean, I hope
I would
the-
like I would
Go
like
ahead.
to ask a question around that, because I actually asked this question to a good mate of mine, Alo, and I said to him, at what point does Solana actually transcend and actually become more than just a fucking casino for meme coins? Because right now, every single protocol that has tried to fulfill the role that DeFi at its very core has done, Solana doesn't get recognized for that. It just gets recognized for this casino meme coin behavior. And do we continue to see Solana outperforming because meme coins are just going to carry on doing really well, or do we see a DeFi element within Solana? I mean, not that it matters, but I'm just curious as to what your thoughts are around that. That's on you, Osbro.
Go ahead, Osbert. Yeah.
I was thinking it's a question. That's a very good one. I think Solana is more attractive because of it being a casino for meme coins. Yeah, that's absolutely true. However, as much as I hate it, this is what like is trendy among retail. Like, that's sad
Yeah.
but true. Like, I have a very quick example. There was my cousin's boyfriend who wanted to start investing into crypto. So he called me. We had a phone call like 30 minutes. I explained everything about fundamentals and shit. right? I never once mentioned Doge or Shiba and stuff like that. He called me the next day. Hey, I finally bought my first tokens. What did you buy? XRP, Doge, and Shiba. This is what happened, you know. So unfortunately, this is how it works. And yeah, even if Solana is not the smartest, I would say, like doesn't offer the smartest use cases, then this is what attracts more people than ETH, in my opinion. So I stick to my prediction.
Yeah. Yeah, and the on-ramping process is a lot easier. There's less friction. I mean, Phantom
And less
wallet
fees.
is, yeah, it's
Even though
seamless.
ETH
I mean,
has been doing great.
yeah, yeah.
Stay there for a second, Jedi, because the same question to you. What is your hottest prediction for 2026? These are going to be written down. We're
I
going to
think-
revisit these in 12 months.
Yeah, so I think Perp Dexes are just going to continue doing stupid things. I mean, I think those are going to be great bets for us. I think memes will continue doing what it is that they've done with their ebbs and flows. I mean, we've seen, who was leading the charge. It was fucking memes, So I think that's going to carry on doing its thing. I think we'll see the whole privacy thing really start opening up. I think people are going to start becoming super educated around what true privacy looks like, what ZKs are about, and then how they're going to position themselves from an investment perspective. So I think TGEs around those are going to be super popular, and I think we're going to see a lot of liquidity going into those. I think those are my top three kind of like considerations for 2026.
Okay. I hope someone was writing those down. Oh, Osbor's saying his rabbit fell down the stairs. That actually makes me very sad. I hope he's okay. Oh, Osbor's giving the angry emote, so he's okay. He's just an idiot. Okay.
Yeah,
That's
he's
all
an
right.
idiot. Yeah.
I hope he's okay, man. That breaks my heart. Victor, hottest prediction for 2026.
Instead of just giving you one hot prediction, I'm gonna do what I actually love when I do predictions, is that 10, 50, 90%. So I'm gonna give you a prediction that I'm 90% certain and then 50% and 10%. So for the 90% prediction, I'm gonna say that BTC is gonna continue outperforming ETH. The 50% prediction, and some people might call this a hot one, is that BTC won't make a new all-time high in 2026. And my 10% prediction, you can call this the hottest one, is that we will get another 10th of October event when altcoins go minus 90% in a single day. Hopefully it doesn't happen. That's why I put it at 10%. But yeah, those are my predictions.
What would be the catalyst for something like that? I wonder.
We don't
Just a
even need the
buildup
big
of leverage
catalyst.
go I. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, but we don't even need the big catalyst. Like, what was the catalyst for the 10th of October? I can't even remember. Was it an increase in tariffs with China? It was something so insignificant. Like the attack on Venezuela was a much bigger catalyst, but the prerequisites for a big dump were there on the 10th of October, and they weren't there. Like over leveraged longs and people just too comfortable and everything. So. Yeah, we don't need a big catalyst. I'm not talking about an FTX collapse or a Luna collapse that saw us going to the bear market in 2022, but something is gonna happen. I don't know how big, and it can lead to something like that. But like I said, 10% prediction, not very confident in it, and I hope it doesn't happen.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, yeah, that would be a tough pill to swallow, I think, for for our future chances for an alt season. Yeah, I think one of my hottest predictions, possibly relating to Trump. Like, I could see Trump. People talking about Trump running for a third term. Like, I could see Trump. I mean, he's old. Something happening to him, not malicious, but something happening to him health wise, and having to step down, and maybe a less crypto friendly president having to take the reins, and that being kind of I don't know, you spoke about a 10-10 event happening again. I'm talking something even more serious. Let's say maybe a catalyst that'll kick off a proper bear market, or even some kind of black swan, which would be Trump getting seriously ill, or having to step down. And I don't know, maybe then the well, like obviously it would be what's his name, JD Vance would take over, but I'm not so sure is he the kind of guy who can I guess, take the reins of America in a way, in the same way that Trump did. So I don't know. I could see something like that happening, where instead of people having these bullish predictions for the future of crypto, that maybe a slightly more bearish policy comes into force in the US by force or otherwise. He has a nice smile. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I think that's the counterpoint to my other prediction for 2026, which is I think that the replacement for Jerome Powell is going to be extremely crypto friendly, extremely stock market friendly. It's going to be a Trump appointee. Trump has already indicated that he doesn't care about the long-term health of the economy. He just wants to secure his legacy by having a bullish stock market, a bullish crypto market in his time. And I think for that reason, if someone does come in to replace Powell and they are a Trump appointee, Trump shill, I could see a scenario where they just start slashing rates, potentially by an unprecedented amount. Now, the last biggest rate cut we had was at the very start of COVID, and that was to stimulate an economy that was already dying. This would be into an economy that's already overheated and kind of topping out. So it would be a very different matter. It would probably push us to new highs, the crypto market to new highs. It would probably send the S&P up to new highs, but the long-term effects of that would be extremely bullish. It would undermine the credibility of the Fed for about a decade to come. But I think that Trump doesn't give a shit about that. He just wants to make sure that things are going well in his presidency. So yeah, I could see something like that happen. That's my hot take for 2026. Okay, I think we're going to. I'm hedging my predictions. Yeah, no, those are my two predictions. Either Trump's appointee gives us the exit pump that we all were waiting for, or Trump gets seriously ill and BTC goes back to 45K. All right, boys, we're gonna call it there.
You know what I've just realized? That you are an eternally positive person when I meet you in person, but then there's also an extremely morbid side to you. Those charts that you post on the worst case scenarios are actually what you really are like. It's actually quite disturbing.
I know, yeah. No, what you saw was a psychopathic facade. You know, that's how I
Really?
that's how I trick everyone. Everyone on stream's like, "Hey, you're such a wholesome, positive guy," and I'm like, "Nah, motherfucker, that's all a mask. That's all a mask hiding
Really?
my deep-seated negativity and toxicity." No, and that's a good note to end the first Chroma Team Roundtable of 2026. So I want to thank our panelists, Jedi, Victor, Osmer. We also had Rouge and Purdue earlier in the call. Thank you one and all for joining and for giving us your time. We will be back next week with another Chroma Team Roundtable, and these are going to take place for anyone new here. These take place every Tuesday at 4 p.m. UTC. But until then, we will see you around. Thank you, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy the rest of your week, and see you soon. Peace out, Girl Scouts. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.